Coach, we didn't get a chance to talk to you after last week's duel. What were some of your impressions and takeaways from the Pennsylvania trip?
Well, I think as we went into the dual meet, we kind of knew that it was going to be competitive, you know, and wrestled in the snake pit is what they call it there at Lehigh. I saw the best facility in the United States. Lehigh's got the best facility in the United States, there's no question. Their locker room, their workout room, what they have available there, the way they show their history and their success in the past, as well as the future, was incredible. And so as we hopefully look to build a new facility for wrestling, we don't have to go too far. You know, just go up there and look at what they have.
Better than Ohio State?
Yeah.
Wow. Because I've seen theirs. It's nice.
I was really impressed with it. And, it's 9 years old, and for some reason I missed it a couple of years ago because we wrestled in Stabler. We didn't wrestle in their what they call the snake pit, and so I didn't see it a couple of years ago. But we wrestled well. I thought the second match was a little bit slow for us. Maybe it was the travel a little bit, wrestling the same day, I don't know. We've done this several times, and it's been a pretty good outcome for us. And but I was pleased overall. I liked the fact that we won the third period in most of those matches, and that's what made the difference in the lopsided score.
What did you think of the crowd in the snake pit? They seem to be getting pretty rowdy over there.
Yeah, you know, we didn't give them much a chance to get too involved in it. We did a good job. You know, I mean, it got pretty loud when Victor was on his back. Voinovich, you know, twice in the same period. You know, 9-1, I think, 8-1. But there wasn't much to cheer for after that. You know, and so I thought we did a good job of, like I said, of controlling the third period and winning the tight ones. We won 2 overtime matches. I think a couple 1-point, 2-point matches. I thought I was really kind of pleased with and relieved a little bit at 84. You know, just okay, he could do this. You know, and I was a little concerned. Of course, you know, the kid from Lehigh we had never beaten. You know, he was a transfer from Wyoming. And I don't know. We wrestled him 6 or 7 times. It seemed like, and I don't know if we ever beat him with gear. You know, so there was just a little bit of a sense of relief for me at that weight class, just knowing that we're okay.
What did you think of Vic's comeback effort? As that was a really dangerous position he found himself in early in that match.
Yeah, you know, I was just really pleased with him getting that escape, following that takedown and that turn, and it was just like, wow, 8 points just got thrown up, you know, really quick and fast, and he did what he needed to do, you know. I think he showed a lot of energy and getting up and getting out of there and getting the escape, and I think that when you do those type of things, it lets that athlete know, listen, this match isn't over. I'm not done. I'm just getting started, and I think that power of him coming off that mat was really a key at starting maybe you know, starting the comeback. You know, this guy's not done. I feel him, you know, and rather than just being a wreck and laying on the mat and dropping your head, sometimes that's what happens when you're down 8-0 and you get hit that hard, you know. And so just that energy of him finding a way of coming up and getting out of there was the start for his comeback, and what led to really led to the next 2.5 periods of him dominating.
We talked a lot last time about Serber's adjustment coming down to 97, and you said it was going to be a process, and the process started. He loses the first match at Lehigh, but he comes back and comes back strong.
Yeah, but the Lehigh match is the match, right? I mean, you know, that's. I mean, you know, that's the judgment. I mean, you need to judge yourself on that, and it really wasn't in the match. He ended up picking up a third period takedown. Literally, the kid Beard from Lehigh was two points away from a major decision, and you know, and that's not good.
No.
Right, in the third period. But Luke ended up getting a takedown and ended up taking ride time off. It ended up being a 10-7 match. So, you know, it is. It's going to be a process. I said it with this team. It's going to be a process. I mean, we got to develop each and every week. We got to get better, and I think they know. They know where I'm standing right now, and I think they've embraced what the plan is, right? And the plan is that we must get better. You know, I mean, you must get better with each outing, and if you take a step back, it's okay. You know, no big deal. But we need to stay focused on what we need to be doing. You know, 141. You know, listen, we've seen that stuff last year. Okay, I mean, we need to see something different now. You know, and we can't have a match where the 28th guy in the country beats us. You just don't have those matches. You know, maybe he's not 28th, maybe he's better than that. I don't know, but I don't know. You just, you know, those are things that you need to take serious, and sometimes this generation fails to take things serious. You know, and wants to be a little bit comfortable, right? People want comfort, you know, and listen, there's nothing about wrestling that's comfortable. So we got to remind them that. And so,
Doucette taking two.
Yeah.
That looked pretty positive.
Well, it's didn't know what we were going to have there. I'm going to tell you, he's an athlete. You know, I didn't ever look at him as an athlete, but his body's changed a lot since he's been here. He's got a nice 250. It's a good weight class for him, what he weighs. You know, it's not where Serber was, you know, last year, trying to maintain 220, you know, and eating all he can. But I'm pleased with the first outings. You know, I think there's a lot of tactics in his match, and he had to, you know, that I'd like to see him, you know, stretch scores out a little bit more. But I will tell you this, I was really pleased that we come back with him, and he had two nice wins, and one that at Lehigh that
He can
really
judge
required,
himself on?
huh?
That he can judge himself on.
Yeah. He, you know, it was important. We started the match at 97, and you know, we lost at 97, and you know, you need to turn it around. We knew it was going to be tight. We knew we were going to needed to win some matches that didn't, on paper, that didn't favor us, and that was definitely one. Second match of the dual meet, we hit them pretty good with a nice win at heavyweight.
Coach, walk me through the process. I know you said Kenny Gefeller won't be back until December, but walk me through the decision to wrestle him on Saturday.
Well, you guys know, I take dual meets serious. We want to win our dual meets, you know, so just leave it at that. I'm going to put the best guys out there, you know. When you have a team that you're not sure about, you know, that you could, you know, it could be tough to win dual meets this year, you know. That doesn't do anything for us. I mean, you're not going to take it easy on me if we're getting our ass kicked, right? You know, I mean, our you know, and so, you know, it's just something we do, right? And so we're going to need to put our best team out there in most of our dual meets. You know, we don't have the luxury to mess around. We need to, as a program, you know, dual meets are important to this program, and it leads you to an attitude that normally gives you a lot of confidence at the end.
He almost pinned the guy. Were you surprised at this performance?
You know, he's smart, and that experience helped him a lot. He's not a guy that you're going to turn over. The guy that he wrestled may be one of the top 3 guys on top. Really good, turns a lot of people. Yeah, he reversed him to his back, and if he'd have known what the score was, didn't quite know what the score was, he should have just stayed in the position he was in and ended the match, and he wins the match. You know, but he kind of forced a headlock, sliding off of a reverse half, and he tried to ended up going to a headlock to get the pin. He didn't need to really have that pin. So, but I'm not faulting him. I mean, I'd go for it too.
What's the plan with that group from 49 to 65 long term? You know, like who slots in?
The
where?
best is going to wrestle. Let's put our best team out. And kind of what I said, we don't have the luxury not to put a best team out, right? I wish we could use several guys, but we're just not in that position, you know. And so I don't think everybody's going to be at the weight that they're at right now. I think you heard me say that Wyatt will probably be at 57. But we know that, you know, there's a descent plan every time he weighs in at 165. He's not weighing 57, right? And so there's a descent plan that we have to follow, and you know, normally that's you know, to go from a certain weight down, it takes several weeks before you can do that. Another overly strict rule that seems like we're the only ones that really have some of these rules that you scratch your head and like, I know, you know. Anyway, I better be careful.
What kind of challenges does Wyoming bring this weekend?
They're good. You know, they've always been really good. Mark Branch has done a nice job. You know, it's just bringing that program to a level that's being noticed. And having several guys that, hey, you know, like I said, that 84-pounder they've had that transferred to Lehigh. I think he beat us 6 or 7 times. You know, and so got one of the best lightweight kids in the country. So they've been good. He's been good. They've been good in a lot of positions. They wrestle well on top, and we're going to have to get off the bottom. Several weight classes, I think we're going to see some tough dual meets. I mean, some tough matches.
Coach, on that note, you mentioned, I'm assuming lightweight, we were talking about Jorfolk. Do you expect him to go for them this
I
weekend?
think, I mean, I don't know what Mark's doing with him. I would assume that, you know, I think he's probably a kid that could be ready right away. You know, I think when you make decisions on true freshmen are they ready, you know, and it sure seems like he's had a really good summer and showed a lot of maturity, you know, in what he's done and the things he's done. So, but I'm not sure what they're going to do.
I know you weren't there, but what did you think of the Cowboys who wrestled in the Open Tournament this past weekend?
Wyoming?
The Open Tournament.
Oh, you mean down in Carl Albert?
State,
Yeah, I was just, you know, we're just really two things. One, we wanted to be there to support this program. I was excited that started a new program in the state of Oklahoma. I mean, when's the last time a men's wrestling program started in the state of Oklahoma? It's unfortunate.
May have been
that
NEO.
There should be more. Well, NEO was already. I mean, they restarted.
Restarted.
Yeah, but. You know, and so I'm glad we got a chance to send some guys down and support their event. And I don't know, the competition was definitely not, you know, what we could be facing in other places. But I think it definitely is a program, and it's an event that that a lot of wrestlers needed. You know, and I'm not talking about necessarily us, but you know, I noticed there's a lot of schools from Texas, several schools from Texas. I think Arkansas was there, a couple teams from Arkansas, but and the brackets looked like they were, you know, good. You know, 12 to 14, 16 teams. Yeah, so yeah, we wrestled well. You know, Haas ended up, I guess, having 4 matches, and I don't know if he wrestled longer than 3 minutes. Got 4 pins, you know. I mean, that's hard to do anywhere, you know. So, I got guys on my team that's never pinned anyone. He got 4 of them in one day. Yeah.
You think he's a guy, I know you said you're going to wrestle the best guys, but do you think he's a guy that if he wrestles good in open tournaments could potentially see getting in there eventually.
Yeah. We'll see, right? I mean, there's an open tournament this weekend in St. Louis. What's the name of it? What's the tournament in St. Louis?
What school?
Lindenwood.
Oh, Lindenwood.
St.
Yeah,
Louis.
yeah.
Is that St. Louis?
Yeah.
Yeah, Lindenwood, tough tournament. We're going to send, our freshmen can't wrestle unless it's on our schedule in the first semester. So
That's a new rule, right?
yeah, it's a new rule, and I mean, I understand. I think it's a good rule. I think they need to tweak it a little bit. There's already some situations that they need to recognize that they didn't think about, but I think it's a good rule. We'll send a group of guys again to Lindenwood, and that's definitely a highly competitive duel. I mean, a highly competitive open tournament. Historically, been really good. A lot of Division I schools, both in the Big Ten, the Big 12, Missouri, as well as us, and probably OU will have guys at the event.
Is that a rule in place to kind of prevent, I know with COVID years, you're now seeing almost 8th-year wrestlers. Is that rule in place to kind of prevent 8th years who's, quite frankly, have an advantage over freshmen from wrestling?
Say that again?
Is that rule in place to prevent 8th-year, 7th-year wrestlers from wrestling, true freshman wrestlers who?
No, I
have
think
that
I
advantage?
think that rule's in place is because there's been some. Our APR is not where we want it as a sport. We're good here at Oklahoma State. We have no problem, and I think your APR, when it gets that little bit out of whack, it's because of your true freshman and maybe the struggle they have making weight in the months of November and December. Right in the middle of finals, and so I think that part of this is to give them that semester of footing that allows them to recognize what it's going to take, one, to be successful, and I agree with you. I don't think it was ever really healthy for my young guys, especially my true freshmen, to go 4 straight weekends in the month of November and part of December, and missing, driving on their own and staying the night and driving back. Just seemed never was real comfortable with it, and so, they're in their first semester and they're spending, 3 days on the weekends, 4 weekends in a row on the road, can affect your grades. So I thought it was a good move.
Obviously, you got Thanksgiving coming up. Managing weight's one of the more difficult things in wrestling. How did you try and,
Skip it.
skip it?
You skip it.
It doesn't exist.
Yeah, I don't think I ever had Thanksgiving. I always wrestled that weekend, even in Oklahoma. We had the Oklahoma Open. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, and I don't know if I ever had Thanksgiving until I graduated from college, I think. Yeah, so you skip it.
Right. Do you
But
encourage-
these guys, we don't have much of a weight problem, really. I mean, we're pretty balanced, and Thanksgiving's. I think this generation of wrestlers also have learned proper techniques of making weight, and so they wasn't crazy. I mean, we were crazy, but we didn't have any education either. We didn't know. We thought whatever the food weighed is what you were going to put on. I mean, we didn't really have much of an idea. And this generation's been educated, and most of them have a Thanksgiving dinner because they just really disciplined with what their intake is, and so that's one thing good about wrestling is it's really improved. And cutting weight, those kind of words, really they don't really apply to wrestling so much like they did in the past.
Coach Branch, of course, is one of your guys, came up through this program, coached under you, and now he's coming back here. I know probably not this weekend, but do you ever get back with him and any of those other guys, Pendleton, some of the guys around the country?
Yeah, we always, a lot of times we'll meet up at one of the tournaments. I think about our last meeting, we got together Southern Scuffle. I think there was 10 or 12 of us, you know. I'm sure proud of those guys, you know. I mean, it's really nice to see, you know, your past athletes, you know, taking over positions in the country where maybe historically they haven't had real balance there. And I think when you look at Wyoming University, I mean, there's some real balance there. There's, you know, Branch has created that, you know. Wrestling's important in Wyoming, you know, and you look what Pendleton has done and raising the level of at Oregon State, and just you hear about them, you know, and you know, their jobs are challenging, and it's just good to see them, you know, take the steps of leadership and saying, hey, we're going to try to be good, you know. And I think people appreciate that. I think ADs follow that. They love that, you know. They love it. And if they don't love that, then they're in the wrong, you know, they're in the wrong place, you know. They need to get rid of ADs. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of them out there that don't really care a whole lot about anything other than one or two sports. Trust me. That's not here, though. That's for sure. That's nice.
Anything else?